Hey guys and gals, Jake at Fat Fabs here again. It is a nice, brisk, cold morning right before Christmas with the 1966 Lincoln Continental that we've spent the last year on, and we're finally coming to a close on it. The car is sold and is staying in Oklahoma. It is going to Randy Longedon in Elk City with his beautiful granddaughter, Tawny Frank, and married to Chance Frank. They're real great customers. They bring them out to any shows that we go to, and they like to hang out with us. They're real good people. So with that being said, I'd like to just talk a little bit about the car now that it's a finished product. We have the build series on YouTube. Majority of the work you got to see being done to this car. So right now, I just kind of like to talk about the specifics, I guess you'd say. So 1966 Lincoln Continental, original convertible car. Charles DeGand is responsible for the paint and body work. It is using all Revolt auto paint. Interior is all done by Kurt Enix at Kurt's Creations in conjunction with Sean at Sound Depth in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Kurt has done the seats. We mounted the seats into the car, just kind of let Sean run with everything else. That's the greatest part about working with Sean is I like to tell him to build it how he would build it if it was going to be in his showroom. So he never disappoints. I'm very thrilled with what he's done. Car does need to go back to him for a short period of time to finish out the trunk and hook up the amplifiers and stuff like that. That way we can get the stereo working. But everything is installed. The subwoofer is underneath the dash because the car is walled off right here. He felt like it wasn't going to be very good to put subwoofers in the trunk. You weren't going to hear them or it would just rattle the trunk. So subwoofers underneath the dash, which is very creative in my opinion, as well as all your dash speakers, kick panels, and he's got speakers back here in the center console. Moving forward, Coyote 5.0 with an adapter plate matched up to a 4L80. We wanted the GM transmission to run with that Holley Sniper behind that Coyote. We know the 4L80 can put up with all the horsepower and torque that motor is going to put out. Gary Gilliland at Altered Specialties is responsible for wiring the car. The car's running a Holley Sniper X Max. That's what's operating the car. What's operating the gauges are decoded digitals. We received those from Phil at Twisted Images. They look like they're factory. They're black faced to try to mimic the factory style, but are digital. Everything reads from the Holley and gets projected onto those gauges. One of the things that, we ordered these taillights for this car in February. It took a really long time to get them. They're Digitails. I wasn't happy about how long it took to get them, but now that they're here and we have them installed, I'm absolutely in love with them. Well worth the wait. But we did have to go back and redo the rear grille because the taillight lenses were a little bit thicker than we anticipated. Spider Automotive supplied us with the headlights. They do have the running lights in them. Everything's contained behind these grills. We did source our windshield from Devious Customs in Riverside, California. Thank you, Jeff Davey, for that windshield. Gary at Route 66 Auto Glass installed said windshield on a last minute run. Thank you, Gary, for getting that in and coming to us and getting that knocked out right before SEMA. Randy did all that work to the windshield trim to make sure everything's capped off and looking good. The wheels are 22-inch American Racing. We had them custom powder coated before they shipped. 22 by 9 in the front, 22 by 10.5 in the rear. We are running a 255/30 in the front and a 305/30/22 in the rear. Behind those, 14-inch Willwood brakes. We were able to utilize the Willwood spindle for a C10 in the front. When we did our suspension, we cut the frame section out from the core sport to the firewall. We adapted one of our C10 front clips into this car. That way we could use that C10 spindle, newer bushings, newer ball joints. So it just modernized the whole front end with rack and pinion and everything else on top of the air ride. Basically what you're looking at is a 1966 Lincoln Continental shell. Everything else around it is modern. When it comes to suspension, drivetrain, electronics, wires, everything else is brand new in the car and performs like it's brand new. We're running the AccuAir E-Level in this car. All the height sensors are all four corners. It's got the presets 3, 2, and 1. This car can roll really low and turn, so I'd love to drive it on the setting number 1. You can turn almost lock to lock with it that high off the ground. We are being powered by Viair compressors. There's two 485 compressors on here, the Stealth Black, that pump into the AccuAir Endo VT. So what we chose to do was to raise the floor, and we built our fuel cell that goes underneath it. It left quite a bit of room, so we decided to mount our air tank with our compressors underneath it. Doing so keeps all of our air management out of the trunk. It keeps our gas tank out of the trunk and gets a little bit further away from the driver compartment. When we're talking the sheet metal and body mods on this car, it's a very, very long list. We can start with the rockers. That was one of the things that was a must for me was the majority of these old cars and the rockers where you can see the pinch weld. That had to go. So we had sheet metal added to it and then it breaks over and goes underneath the car. So we have 36 feet of welding on this car, probably more than that because it wraps around the front and it wraps around the rear. So shaving all that trim was a lot of welding, a lot of welding. We've also capped in all the doors. The owners didn't care to have a top on the car, so we got rid of all the windows and the tracks and everything else. So that's where we added this sheet metal that rolls over, as well as deleting the wing window. The amount of work that goes into that windshield trim is outrageous. So all that's been capped to fit back together and then painted. The amount of work that's underneath that hood is pretty substantial as well. Speaking of that literal underside of the hood, all the underside of the hood has been welded, bead rolled, bodywork put back together. And then when we're looking on the inside, all of the factory panels have been cut out and these new ones have been built in radius. Front and rear bumpers have been welded into the car. They've actually been cut, sectioned, and brought in a little bit, so they still mimic the 1966 Continental bumpers, but they have been tucked quite a bit before they were welded in. On the rear section, just the outsides and the top piece of the bumper are factory. Everything where the grill is and down was all hand built and was built to mimic like a roll pan on the bottom of the car. As far as thank yous, we need to go through a list and give a whole bunch of thank yous for everybody that went through the hell that we went through to build this car. And first and foremost, I need to thank my guys at Fat Fabs, the guys that put the amount of hours in this car. Frank, he cut his teeth on this car. This was one of his first projects whenever he was a new kid that was 19, 20 years old whenever he first started. So he started on this car. Obviously, Randy finished it up. Peepaw that went through the suspension with us, all the way down to, everybody else in the shop that touched his car. Gary that does the wiring, huge shout out to him. Charles for the paint. Sean Dunn at Sound Depth. Kurt Enix, he did a great job on these seats. Tammy at Revolt. We use our buddy Mike at Willwood that supplied us with some brakes. Fire compressors. AccuAir, huge shout out to American Racing for this new style of wheel, first ever seen at SEMA 2024 on this car. I mean, you can't forget the guys at Spider. They don't give us any shit. They just know that we're gonna build what we're gonna build and show up, and they don't ask any questions. So huge shout out to them. I really gotta thank this man Zach right here, because he gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning with me to come downtown and do this damn video shoot. And we're freezing, obviously. I mean, like, I've got several layers on here. He's got a couple layers, and we're still freezing our ass off because it's fucking December and it's cold. Why we can't build this shit and have SEMA in the summer, I don't know. But this is what we do. And we do have to thank Randy Longedon and Chance Frank and Tawny Frank for purchasing this car. If we didn't have buyers for these things, we couldn't continue to build them. So huge shout out to them for taking on the financial responsibility of making this car happen to the extent that it happened. So hopefully many more to come.